Hey everybody, welcome back. I have something a little different for you guys today. It's definitely a big change from all these spooky builds that I was giving you guys for the month of October, which I'm actually so relieved that that's all over. I don't want to do another spooky build for a while, so you guys don't have to worry about seeing more of them. Probably won't do another one for at least a few months, I think. But anyways, what I decided to do with this build is I had another idea in mind, which I'm not going to tell you guys because I still want to do that other idea. But I really wanted to make this big building sort of floating in the middle of the water and make it really magical and all that stuff. And so I started with this round shape. I used the rug, sized it up just to have an outline of where to go. And what you can see what I'm doing here is after I had the outline, I needed to create a foundation for this shape. And obviously you can't make a perfectly round shape that is that big in the game. And you also, it's very difficult and limited to build walls and things like that. Yes. Sorry, JJ's here, obviously. That's my son, for those of you that don't know. He's almost 11 months old. But anyways, it's very difficult to create a round shape. So what I did was I built this wall and like a room, basically, around the shape that I built. And then I was able to delete all the walls and then cover up the uneven foundation. So it really does look like a circle in the end. And so I wanted this to sort of look like this big lily pad. That wasn't what I had in mind when I first started the build. Obviously, like I said, when I first started the build, I was trying to go in a completely different direction. And it just wasn't coming together the way I thought it would. And I was happy with the way it was coming together, but it wasn't going to be good for the idea that I initially had. Yes, JJ. So I decided to build up all of these plants, and I wanted it to look really, really green and really lush. And I thought that it would be really cool if it was really full towards the like the edge of the rocks, which those rocks are actually a table. So I just sized it up and sized it down to use it to create this shape, because the rocks that we don't have white. I wanted to use white. There's a few debug rocks that are white. The obvious ones come with Eco Lifestyle, but they're these big squares, and I don't use the tool mod, so you can't really sink or rotate or change the rocks too much. They're very difficult to work with. And so I thought that this would be a great alternative to that. And I actually really think they look pretty cool and unique. So I thought that, like I said, I would make it really lush around the edge. And then I wanted the lily pads to sort of dissipate going out farther away from the circle. And the shape that I did, I didn't really have a shape in mind. I just sort of started building. And then I decided, you know what, this looks kind of magical and fantastical. So let me make this like an elven house. So like an elf house. And I've never done that before. And I've sort of always wanted to do one just because, like I said, I just think it's very fantasy themed and fun. And so I used a lot of gold and green and white, and I just thought that those colors looked so pretty together, and I didn't want to take away from the house. So what I decided was that I was going to make the house really the focus, and I wanted all the landscaping to look really, really green, and I didn't want to really use too many other colors. So I usually like to use a lot of flowers and things, and this time I tried to keep it with more greenery. And you can see I'm shaping out the roofing. The roofing was a little challenging, but I thought this was really fun roofing, and I wanted to make this sort of design with the front. So I used several roofs, I think 5 altogether for that front piece. And for those of you, yes, JJ, For those of you that don't know, when you have a roof highlighted, which I didn't know this for a while when I was playing, so I always try to mention it to people. When you have a roof highlighted, you can hit on your keyboard for PC. I'm not sure how it works on console, but for PC, you can hit Shift and C on your keyboard, and it will open up a separate menu for you for the roofing, and it will give you more points on the roof to manipulate. And so I was able to put several roofs in the same place and then shape them all differently, and it created this really cool detail in the front of the roof. So yeah, just a little tip for anybody that doesn't know about the roofing situation. So I've actually been asked, more than once to make a roofing tutorial, and I always say yes, I'm going to do that, and I would love to do it. And then I just never find the time to do it. So eventually, hopefully, I'll give you guys some tutorials on my channel. I really would like to do it. I did one once on, using the terrain tool. And I actually enjoyed creating the tutorial. So, and I've talked to people that said that it was really helpful. So I would like to give you guys a tutorial. So hopefully in the future that'll happen. Anyways, I had a hard time picking out the windows for this, and I ended up using my go-to windows, which are from Strangerville. I always recommend that pack to people, and the actual buy mode stuff is not really, in my opinion, that fantastic. It's not stuff that I would use to build with. Maybe one day I will, but most of that stuff is not really like in my realm of the kind of builds that I like to make. But the build mode items, which is the windows and the fencing, the doors, the pillars, all that stuff is really, really, really beautiful. And they're very diverse, I think, and you can use them in a lot of different ways. There's 2 different kinds of shapes of the windows that come in there, which we don't have with a lot of packs, like Seasons or Cats and Dogs. Those windows are beautiful too, but they're all the same sort of shape. You don't really get a variety of shape of window. You get a variety of like the size and things like that, but no different windows, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I really like those. And I use this big, it's like a roof detail, and I just put it on the top there, if you could see where the roofing is, and just a little something extra. I was just trying to add more detail to the house. So yeah, that's really it for the exterior. On the interior, I kept it really sort of clean and simple. I did a lot of white and gold and yellow and things like that. And I tried to keep it as magical as the outside, but I did want the outside to really be the focus. And, like I said, I usually, use a lot of flowers and things like that in my builds. And I tried to keep this all green. And I used a lot of debug trees, which I don't ever really use the debug menu just because I don't have the patience for it. But I wanted this to feel like it was in the woods. And there's this tree. It comes in 3 different variations of it. And it's in the base game debug menu. And so I used that, and then I ended up moving this. I originally built this in Brindleton Bay, and I ended up moving this over to Windenburg, which I love the Windenburg world. I think that world is probably my favorite. And I love to build on the 64x64 that's on the island. That's sort of my go-to lot when I open the game and I have a big build in mind. That's where I go to build it. Oftentimes when I'm working on multiple builds at once, I'll end up saving a build to the gallery and then starting a new one on there and then having to go back and put it back in because I use that one so much and because I only have one save file. I don't know why, I just do. It's my only one. It's probably a stupid thing to do, but that's just how I am. I guess it helps me a little bit to stay a little organized. But anyways, the other 64 by 64 that's in Windenburg is really pretty, and it's surrounded by trees, and it's very magical looking to me. And I wanted to use that lot. So that's where I placed this after I did a lot of the landscaping. And the only thing I don't like about that lot is there's like a big tree across the street in the world, and it just blocks your view so much when you're trying to work with the build, and it's very frustrating. I wish there was a way that they could fix that, or they could take that sort of into account. They make these beautiful worlds. I think all the worlds are beautiful. I'm not a fan of the one that comes with Dine Out. I think that was a complete waste, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I wish they would take into account, you know, the view that somebody has when they're building in a lot. I mean, it's one thing to play in it. You're really in the house when you're playing live mode. When you're building, you're looking at the house from the outside and from far away, at least for me, because I tend to spend a lot of time just staring at my build. But yeah, I wish they would fix that. So anyways, that was a long-winded little rant, but moving on. So I made this big white house, so I thought it would be really cool to use the grass tile to put on the outside, and I thought I'd just keep it really plain. At first I was going to put some more landscaping there, but I really loved the way the circle came out, and I really wanted that to sort of be this focal point, and I didn't want to take away from the house and all of that. So that's why I left that mostly blank. And this, I ended up doing 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and there's still, I think, 1 room that's unfurnished upstairs. So there is room, if you do want to download this from the gallery, there's room for changes. And obviously you could change throughout the house. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about the build. I have some great stuff coming for you guys this month. I have a few different collabs with a few different people that I'm working on. So these aren't necessarily big group collabs like I do so many of. This is me working one-on-one with other people, or one other person rather. And so I'm really excited to show you guys what we have going on. You know, I've made really great friends in this community, and there's some people that I've met on Instagram that I talk to pretty much every day, that have become, you know, just really good friends. And so it's nice to work with your friends, and I always recommend to people to do a build with someone else, because you can learn so much from them, and you guys are both looking at the same thing, and you have 2 different perspectives, and it adds so much more to the build when you work together. So yeah, I would say definitely do that if you want to get involved in the Sims community. I say this all the time, but get yourself on Instagram or Twitter, or even Facebook has Facebook Sims groups. You know, I try my very, very best to stay away from any sort of negativity or anything like that. But I'd say for any negativity that there's 10 times positivity on the social media. So I know everybody needs a break once in a while from the social media, but there is so many benefits to meeting people in the Sims community. So I always am a full advocate for that. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We are very, very, very close to 600 subscribers. I'm only a few people short, so I just want to say thank you guys all so much from the bottom of my heart. It means so, so much to me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys back on Friday. Bye!